Whether you're a life coach, therapist, biohacker, invested in wellness, or in the healthcare profession, if you have an intention to work in psychedelic spaces, you're in the right place then. If you're called, get involved. But first, get informed. Let's talk the 4 N's: intake, intention, in-space integration. Leading to deeper transformations. Psychedelic Coach Podcast, Tah Cole. Walk you through the process, it's all possible. Leave space for the follow through. Most importantly, integration is not optional.
Your movement is a part of your body. It's a part of your essence, your sound, your ability to integrate with the atmosphere. When you're speaking, you're pulling in air and pushing out air through cords in your throat to make sound. You are a walking gift. And I've said this to some of you, I may have said this here already. Each one of you has had about 4,000 ancestors come together to create who you are in the last 400 years. 4,000 people to create you. You are a gift. Let's talk about the health continuum. This is the key to understanding emotions. Most people believe that health is the opposite of what? Disease, right? For me, the opposite of disease is actually ease. And so when we look at the health continuum, this is what we work on. I don't believe that there's any kind of healthy or unhealthy. I believe that your health is diseasey or easy. Matter of fact, it's not a belief, it's a knowledge. You're either easy or diseasy. You're never unhealthy. Your health is somewhere along that continuum. Now, I've had people talk a lot of shit to me about what it is. I've been a nurse for 31 years. You can argue with me all you want. Sounds good. And you can convince me of otherwise. When you can show me that there's something different than this, and show it to me. I'm open for anything. I'm a skeptic, even with my own shit. But for right now, this is what I know. Health is actually the place between disease and ease. Healthy, the context that we use healthy, the word healthy breaks into 2 words, heal and thy. Heal thy, okay? Heal. Heal means to make free from disease or injury. That's what heal means, right? Thy is of or relating to the self, okay? So heal thy is to make the self or part of the self free from disease or free from illness. So the healthy aspects, right? Ooh, look, it's the hierarchy of esteem again. These are all the aspects of you that can be healed and are healing right now, and they're always healing. Healing is a process that's always going. You're always either making yourself more easy or making yourself more diseasey, or you're kind of floating in the middle. It's not a static process. There is no end point to healing. That is a fallacy. I want you to be healed. You will hear a lot of this, and you may say this a lot to yourselves. I want you to be healed. There is no end point to this. The end point to healed is being dead. Getting you healed into the planet. And even that, your parts are going to be healed into some other animal, into some biome, into something else. You're constantly recycling. So these aspects of shared mind, construct, heart, body, biome, they are all fluctuating and changing into different spaces all the time. Are they easy? Are they dis-easy? That's the question. And what do you need to do to strategize to get these different aspects of yourself to be easier, this easy? You have a question?
Just real quick, what about being healed from something specific? Is that more of a acceptable thing? I want to be healed from this virus or healed from that. That would be acceptable, so to speak?
I mean, you can use that language, that's fine. I mean, it's none of what I'm sharing is law. Everything that I'm offering is a theoretical framework for you to kind of put languaging on what I'm doing so that we can be in a mutual context. So to be free from an illness is what I would consider that healed from that illness, and I'm still healing into something else. I'm creating myself into something else. So yes, and, right? So that's not an exclusionary situation. I'm talking about being healed as a person in totality. It's always a healing process. As I speak, I'm wearing out my inner cheek, and my body is actually replenishing it all the time. This is a study we did when I was in nursing school. You're always pulling. The cheeks are the most replenished place in your body other than in your intestines. The most replenished place in your body, because you're always talking, you're always chewing. And this is always healing itself. If not, you'd have big holes inside of your face. You're always replenishing, y'all. We have a new body every 7 years. Every 7 to 10 years, we have a new whole body. It's crazy. And what could you do in 7 to 10 years if you changed what you were eating into something different? When I did vegan for 5 years, my whole body was different. And now I'm eating different. You're moving into a different body. So every 7 years, you replace every part of your body, every part of it. And so what are you building it with? Okay, this is important. Thank you for that distinction, Tim. We appreciate you. So, the healthy aspects also include your relationships and your interactions. Healthy relationship, heal by relationship. If your relationship is wonky, what do you need to do to bring that into a space of ease? How many people are in relationships that are not very easy right now? Be it intimate relationships, be it business relationships, be a relationship with your food, be a relationship with water, relationship with the air, relationship with the carpet in your house, relationship with the paint on the walls, relationship with that smell in the garage. This is an important thing that gets bypassed. And so relationships are a huge part of your healing field. If you are walking into a space that you're disconnected from, your connection may need to become more easy. And if you're walking in your house and there's shit you don't like in your house, something is not safe for you. And you're not going to connect. And you may be like, I don't understand why I can't do this, but every time you walk in the house, you start frowning and you don't know why, and it's a picture on the wall that you hate, but your partner loves it. What do? Your relationship is disrupted. Does this make sense? I want you to consider all of these things. What is healing? It's ongoing. This is a creative process. Your body is one of the most creative things in the world, in existence. As you're speaking right now, your body is re-articulating. When you have something that flutters, and you have butterflies in your stomach, that feeling, you're actually pushing certain hormones into your body so that your body can prepare to shift into something different. A different action, a different growth pattern, something different. Okay? So this is always going on. Make sense? Cool. So the health continuum is connected between the ease and disease space, right? It's the current location on that continuum. So at times, health can be both easy and diseasy at the same time. You can be easy in your career or diseasy in your career, easy in your family. And this can be in multiple places at the same time. And so figuring out where disease can be rooted can be challenging because it can be multiple things like this here. You have your friendships, you have your body, you have your career, you have your marriage. What does that look like? All those things. We talked about it yesterday. Multi-construct strain, that's right, thank you. When your constructs are pulling at each other, it can cause discord, and this can cause overwhelm. Because, well, I feel happy here, and I feel shitty here, and I feel this here, and I feel this there, and I feel this, and I feel, and that's what it sounds like. And you get overwhelmed, and you stop. Overwhelm is an emotional space. I call it the matrix emotion, because it has a lot of things involved in it. There's one antidote to overwhelm. One antidote. Simplify. That's it. It is a matrix emotion. Alongside guilt and shame, they are matrix emotions. And I say they're matrix emotions because they have they're not one space. There are many emotional spaces at the same time. And it causes us to be overwhelmed so that we behave a certain way. We either shut down or we conform. If you want to get somebody to conform, overwhelm them. Another system can't handle it. And so when you have people, speaking of the Marines, when you have people like Marines and Navy SEALs, they are trained to be overwhelmed so that they are able to function with multiple things going on. I'm an ER nurse. The reason I can handle so many things is because I was overwhelmed in the beginning of my career and I learned how to navigate 150 bodies in an emergency room moving with people dying and people with cuts on their fingers and all kinds of shit at the same time. I had to learn how to prioritize. My nervous system is really good at it. So there are different ways to adapt to overwhelm. Cool. So remember, you have spirit, construct, heart, intuition, emotion, body, microbiome, relationship, interaction. Right? All of those are the different aspects. Let's talk about your emotions. So your emotions are signals, and this is all your emotions do. Emotions tell you one thing. They tell you if you're in ease or if you're in disease. Well, that's actually two things, right? Ease or dis-ease. They don't tell you anything else. And they're guidance systems that are telling you how to get back to ease. The pleasant emotions, this is what your emotions look like, all jumbled up when you're overwhelmed. So emotions are the barometer for the health continuum. When you look at the health continuum, they move you back and forth. And they're telling you that pleasant emotions are telling you that you're moving towards or in ease. Joyful, content, optimistic, confident, fulfilled, amused. These are all pleasant spaces. People will call pleasant emotions positive. You have unpleasant emotions that tell you that you're in or moving towards disease. And that can be sadness, anger, frustration, despair, hurt, aversion to things, feeling abandoned. Most of the emotions on that wheel are unpleasant or negative emotions. Most of them are unpleasant. So we have a great amount of unpleasant things that are pointing us in the direction of the pleasant things. They are all gifts. If you look at your unpleasant emotions as something that's bad or something that's wrong, you easily push them away and you won't look at them. Oh, I don't want to feel this anymore. How many people have said that? I don't want to feel this anger anymore. And then you just push it away, or you took some stuff, or you distracted yourself. But it came back because you didn't listen to it. These signals are telling you something. You can put your hand next to a stove, and that heat's going to keep telling you to move away from that heat. And if you put your hand on it, you're going to get pain. It's going to keep telling you to stay away from it, because that's what it's designed for. That's what the heat response is designed for. Your emotions are the same thing. If there's anger that's constantly coming up, then there's something that's not safe. Or there's a perception of something that's not safe. And if you haven't learned to listen to that, it's going to keep coming online. And you can medicate the shit out of it. You can put it in as much therapy as you want. If you don't acknowledge that signal, it's going to keep going in the background. And it will keep producing the hormones of that complex until your body starts to mutate or you start to listen to it. So, whatever's driving unpleasant and negative emotions is the foundation of disease. Now, disease is often confused with another word, illness. Illness and disease are not the same thing. They are not mutually exclusive. I can be in dis-ease all day long and not be ill. But after I'm in that dis-ease space for a long period of time, and I produce the chemicals that are associated with the dis-ease over and over again, that are not supposed to be disseminated through my whole body, those chemicals can get depleted, they can get stuck, they can get into spaces that cause your organs to turn mushy and soft or hard and stop functioning cleanly. And that disrupts the energetic field, which is where we talk about chakras, okay? There are certain chakras where certain energies are not supposed to sit for long periods of time. They slow down, the energy starts to slow down. And that causes all of the energy in a particular area to slow down. And then we can't flush out the waste products, we can't do all of the stuff that we need to do. We don't have the clean energy exchange, and we start to mutate, and things start to break down. Because the body will break down so that it can reintegrate back with the earth in an easier space. It's easier than being in distress all the time. This is a frame that I'm inviting you all into because this is a frame that I was not taught as a nurse. So ease is where all healing takes place. This is the height of parasympathetic activity. How many people are not familiar with what parasympathetic is? Not familiar with sympathetic nervous system? My people online, y'all familiar? Can I get a thumbs up? Sympathetic is a very active nervous system space, and you'll get stuff on this in the portal. Parasympathetic is where all the healing takes place. The sympathetic is where the active takes place, okay? The far end of parasympathetic is rest, digest, and heal. The far end of sympathetic is fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Okay, those are protective mechanisms. Those are survival-based, safety-based. Does everybody know what fawn means? Great question. Fawn, F-A-W-N. Or fawn. So fawning is a response. It's a creative nervous system response that comes to a person where they actually please. They're looking to please everybody or everything, or their parents or situations and circumstances. It's a nervous system response. And if you're not in the people-pleasing state with people and people don't like you, it can cause you to shut down. It can cause you to get into overwhelm. It's a very, very complex mechanism. It's a very creative mechanism. And it is not just an intellectual mechanism, it is a body mechanism. Thank you, Sincere. It is a body mechanism. And so if you don't know about fawning, if you're people, how many people are people pleasers? Thank you. Thank you for your honesty, Law. Thank you for your honesty. If love was withdrawn as a child, and where you got love from particular behavior patterns, this is something you can learn, and you will apply this to every relationship in your life. And like I was telling y'all before, from conception to 7 years old is when we develop our brains. And if you learn this behavior, that you get significance from your parents by being submissive and pleasing your parents, and you, good boy, good girl, that shit is dangerous, y'all. Remember, safety, connection, fulfillment is what we are built on as individual human beings. 3 points of ease. Remember, emotions are signals that tell you if you're at ease or dis-ease. Pleasant emotions tell you you're in ease. Unpleasant emotions tell you that you're in dis-ease. There are 3 points that drive all your emotions. Those 3 points are safety, connection, and fulfillment. Safety is the foundation. It is the bedrock. This is the poverty line. Safety is the poverty line. Safety is the poverty line. When you go below safety, you are in danger. All of those aspects of you, spirituality, mind and mental processes, constructs, heart, intuition, emotion, space, the body, the biome, all of those things have safety components to it. If they fall below this, your mechanisms for protection will come online. Fright is flight. That's where we run away. Anger is fight. That's where you fight and you ward off. And so if you're always angry, if you're always frightened, you're probably below the poverty line. We want to get above that. When we get above that, our emotions start to get easy. We start to get easier. Now when we look at our finances and our money, we have the poverty line, we have the middle class, and then we have the rich folks. And so the poverty line is just scraping to survive. We're barely staying alive, but we're in this place here. And this is where it's, I gotta fight to do this, like Providencia was talking about earlier, right? I was going through all of these turmoils and all this shit, and now I'm up here in this space to be connected, and I don't know how to do anything because I'm so used to being down here all the time. And so I have this new range of emotionality that's coming online. And there's boredom coming online, and boredom is telling me to get fulfilled. Something's not fulfilled, and so I look to fulfillment, and what do I do to create fulfillment? It's a different dynamic. And this is why people with lots and lots of money, they know how to fulfill certain areas in their life as far as finances are concerned. They know how to fulfill that, but they may still be in an impoverished space around your relationships, around their marriages. So you can be in multiple places at the same time, just like you can be in different aspects of yourself at the same time. So you may be fulfilled in your relationship, you may be unsafe in your finances. You may feel connected with your kids, you may feel disconnected in your career. You can be in all of these places at the same time. And so you can always gauge everything by safety, connection, and fulfillment. If anybody comes and tells me, I feel uncomfortable about something, I'm sad, cool. Are you safe in your life? Well, yeah, okay, well tell me, are you safe in your money? Oh, no. Are you safe in your household? Well, I love my kids, but I don't like the way my house looks. Not safe, right? I can pull this apart by going through safety. If all of the safety things match up and line up, cool. Are you feeling connected in your life? Would you like to be connected in someplace different? There's something that's missing. And if they are connected and everything, cool. Are you fulfilled? Are you satisfied? Nope, I ain't satisfied. How do we get you satisfied? And so we move up these echelons. And as we move up these echelons, the bottom level starts to move higher. And so if you're connected in spaces, if your connection becomes threatened, that becomes the new unsafe space. Does that make sense? Yeah?
So
Sure.
can you use, like, if someone is feeling depressed or anxious,
Okay.
how do you navigate, like, the questions that you were just showing?
Sure. If somebody's feeling depressed or anxious. Okay. If you're feeling depressed, depression is a sadness complex. And so the first thing I would go to, no, hold on, keep the mic there for a second. Thank you. If depression is a sadness complex, and so sadness comes from a breach or an interruption of connection. So I would actually move up to the connection space and ask them about what are they disconnected from. Because if a person is depressed, there's something they're not connecting to. And they may not be connecting to safety. And so you can play around in that space. So the first thing I would ask is, are you feeling safe in your life? Are you financially stable? Are you stable in your relationships? Are you stable in your house? Do you love where you live? I'd ask all these questions. And so once I start to ask these questions, I can watch a person's body and see where they start to do this stuff. Where are you feeling this in your body? And I just ask these questions around safety. And then once we get beyond the safety stuff, if all those things are satiated, I move up to the connection space. Are you feeling connected? Are you feeling connected with your family? Are you feeling connected with your career? Are you feeling connected with your day-to-day activities? Do you love the place you live? Right? I ask all these questions because I'm looking for the safety, I'm looking for the connection. Before I get to any kind of fulfillment, that person's not going to be satisfied because their baselines they're not complete. And the reason I ask these questions is because when people get into depressive spaces, it's a very myopic space, right? Myopic meaning they can only see one place right now. And the thing that they're probably looking at is what they're disconnected from the most. Maybe a cat died years ago, maybe you lost a parent and they never recovered from it. So they didn't get to connect with something. And so that connection space that they had, the relationship with the parent or the cat has been severed. And so that relationship they never got to come to wholeness with themselves around that, and they never got to actually connect with something. And so when a person is disconnected, it's not the person or the thing that they're disconnected from that fortifies the healing field. It is connection that fortifies the healing field. And so they need to connect with something, and they gotta understand that. And they may not have gone through the full grieving process. And so there are stages of grief, and you can look this up on the internet, the stages of grief. There are many stages to grief. And if they haven't processed the grief and been witnessed in it, that can be an issue. Grief needs to be witnessed. It's not something you do by yourself. It needs to be witnessed. If your grieving is in a cave somewhere, you can't connect with people. You're blocking your intimacy. And so you have this outgoing boundary that is very strong. And most people who are in depressive spaces have an outgoing boundary that blocks things. And so that grieving needs to be witnessed. If grieving is not witnessed, we don't have cohesion, we don't have intimacy. And so that connection point gets blockaded and we stay in a depressive space because we have not fully closed the grieving circle. Okay? Grief is a part of your everyday life. The other day, I was like, I don't know why they designed our bathroom this way. We have this huge fucking bathtub, right? And this towel rack is over the bathtub. And so I have to step in the bathtub to grab my towel and go take a shower. And so Cole had washed something in the bathtub, so it was and the stopper was closed, so there was water in the bathtub. So I stepped in the bathtub and I slipped, and I scraped my leg here, and I got a big bruise. And so I love no bruises on my legs. As a nurse, my whole shit was banged up from stretchers hitting my legs, and so I hate having bruises on my leg. And so I sat there and I grieved. And I had to go through the process, and Cole actually helped me, and she was like, just let go. And I let go. I did. I let go. I cried a little bit, right? And it wasn't the pain. It was this, I haven't banged up my legs in a long time. And so I grieved the flawlessness of my legs for a little while. And it's okay. And then all the shit came in with the self-judgment around vanity and all of this shit. And I got rid of, she was like, let go of that shit, man. Just be with it. It's okay for you to not like your leg to be banged up. And I went through the grieving process, but it was witnessed by another person. If I did that shit by myself, I might still be in some space of not closing that grieving circle. And so there are things that we grieve on a day-to-day basis that we may not realize that in a compound. And so every time something gets taken away, or every time you lose something, or every time you turn on the news and somebody else dies, or your icon singer dies, or your favorite rapper gets hit by a truck, delete, right? All of these things are happening, and you're not grieving. And your grief is not witnessed by other people. This can put you in a compounded space. Does this make sense? Okay, so these things are very important. These are the questions that I would ask. Thank you. And so remember that once you are fulfilled, like Providencia was talking about, once you are in this space where things open up, now your threshold moves higher. So your safety now moves up to where your connection was. And so when your connection gets disrupted, that's the new unsafe. So when the 3 points of ease are satisfied, cool. When the 3 points of ease are satisfied, ease is usually the result. Usually the result. Usually. If it's not the result, then there's something that you aren't applying with. And this is where the detective work comes in. This is where slowing down and being able to take your time with yourself, with your loved ones, with your kids, with the relationships in your life, slow down. Intimacy is not a fast thing. It's not. Integration is not a fast thing. Now, who in this room was the size that you are right now when they came out of the womb? Yeah, nobody, right? It took you all the years of your life to get where you are now. So for you to grow into something new is going to take you some time. That includes your body. That includes your ideas. That includes your emotions. And this is where the discord comes in with us right now as human beings. We still have to evolve as individuals, and our technology is evolving really fast. And so we're still looking to line up with our technology, and we're not doing it. And so this operating system gives us a method of being able to evolve faster because we are doing it by choice instead of by force or by allowing the natural, quote-unquote, flow of things. And so when 3 points of ease are not satiated, dis-ease is usually the result, okay?
Physically in my body, it's my hands are tingling, but not in a fun, sexy way. My stomach is like, there's a bracing and a tightening in my chest.
A dread.
And anticipation.
Okay. So what does fear signal? Thank you for sharing that. What you shared is a lot of sensation. Dread is an emotional space, but the tightness and all of those are sensations, right? And so what does fear tell you?
That I'm terrified to get in my lifespan.
Okay.
And it's coming up.
Okay. But you're terrified. And so what came up for you?
I'm afraid that it's going to hurt. And so my sense of safety is there.
Okay. What would be unsafe?
Pain.
Okay. Okay. Tell me your relationship with pain.
I have a very long-standing relationship with chronic pain.
Uh-huh. Do you listen to your pain?
Now I do.
Okay.
But I was in so much pain on a consistent basis that I think Cole and I have this in common. I convinced myself that it was pleasure to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I have a weird relationship with pain.
Okay. Would you like your relationship with pain to be unweird?
Sure.
Okay. What would that look like?
I guess not to fear it as much.
Okay. What would you have instead of fearing it?
Accepting it.
Okay. And what else? Accepting and?
Connecting.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. And what would that look like? Hold on. Before you answer that, when you make decisions, is it more important that it looks good, feels good, sounds good, or makes sense?
Totally depends on the scenario.
Totally.
Depends on the scenario.
Okay. You don't have another thing that mostly works for you. Feels good. Hey, this feels good. This sounds good. This looks good. This makes sense. Most of your decisions.
I think I'm a feeler.
Okay.
Probably.
So, what would feel awesome? Or what would feel connected in having a relationship with pain?
It would feel good to have better communication with it, like to know what it was signaling to me with more clarity.
And so, when you said better, what would better look like? What would it feel like?
I don't know if I'm wanting instant gratification of like, oh, there's a pain in my head. Oh, I know exactly what that means.
Okay. Whose pain is it?
What I was experiencing earlier was mine.
Okay. So most of the time when you experience pain, is it yours?
I believe so.
Okay. And so what has stopped you from knowing what your pain is, what it's saying?
Sometimes I forget to check. But
Okay.
I know that whenever I have things for a long period of time or they go away and come back,
That's usually fine.
Okay. And so, what would you want your pain to tell you?
What I can shift into or out of to resolve the pain, or that's gonna bring me into more ease.
Okay. Do you think it's telling you that already?
It's telling me not to get in that ice.
Is your pain? Are you feeling pain right now?
Not in this exact moment,
Okay.
no.
So, what is telling you not to get an ice bath?
That's my mind.
Okay. You get breathe into that. Your breath is getting a little bit short. Are you safe for this conversation right now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So it's your mind.
Yes.
Okay. And so your mind is driving the fear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just want to dial into that space. And so, how's your relationship with your mind?
Improving,
Okay.
but complicated.
Okay. Yeah, mind is a complex space. Thank you for sharing that. And so, do you welcome all of your mind's thoughts?
For the most part, yeah. I get curious about them, but I don't often judge the thoughts.
Okay. So there are thoughts about getting an ice bath. Yeah? And there are thoughts about the pain that may come. Are those the dominant thoughts?
They're the loudest ones. There are others.
Okay. What are the others saying?
You can do this. You're going to do this.
Uh-huh.
There's been a lot of resistance around this, so that means that this is the thing to lean into.
Okay, so when you're in there, you can do this. What does that feel like?
A knowing.
Huh?
A knowing.
Unknowing?
Yeah. It just feels like certainty.
Okay. So when you were talking about the pain and the fright, you had all this tension and these feelings in your body. What does the knowing feel like? Your breath's getting short. Breathe.
It feels calm and grounded.
Okay. Where does it feel in your body?
And there's a little excitement in the solar plexus.
Okay.
Calm and grounded. It feels there's energy moving like slower and more consistently through my limbs.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel lower to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And right, do you want to have that feeling? You see that smile that's coming on your face? Yeah, let it happen. Yeah. Do you want that to be the mainstay right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you keep cycling that thought? Keep cycling that feeling. Think about it. Breathe. Go ahead, keep breathing. Stay in that thought. Okay? The other thoughts may be creeping back in. I'm gonna start talking about something else. Okay? Keep going. Now, keep cycling that thought. Keep cycling that feeling. That grounded solar plexus as your foot moves into the water. As you just concentrate. As you look at the ice bath, he's been both feeding, and you stay in it. Go ahead and stay in that. Yeah. Expand that feeling, and you can still feel the cold. You can feel the chakras of the cold, and you still have that expanded feeling. And you breathe. What's coming into you right now?
That feeling is just really expansive and kind of taking over, and my vision is changing.
Okay. What else is coming in? Come on, all of it.
Like a rumbling.
Really?
Feels like a rumbling of like will and power.
Is that a feeling you want to have?
It's something that I think I don't own.
Let's own it. Do you want to own it? Let's stay away from the don'ts and the won'ts and the can'ts. And stay with the cans, the wills, and the do's. I can. I will.
I will.
I do.
I do.
Breathe. Cool. Can you still hear the thoughts about the pain in the background?
They're very quiet.
It's still there, though, right? And it's okay for them to be there. But you're now moving this different thought pattern into your dominant space. It's how you make a dominant emotional space. And it will guide you. Your thoughts are always guiding your emotions. And you can always take it back to your breath. If you can't breathe like this, and your breathing is short and fast, shallow, you're probably in a space where your fear is trumping things, because your thoughts are trumping things into the potential of detriment and unsafety. When you can breathe like this, you can always bring yourself back into the safety space and move above. How are you feeling about that ice bath right now?
Pretty good.
Solid. Welcome home.
Thanks.
Mhm.
That was awesome.
You're welcome. You did it, not me. Deep breath, y'all. Oh, come on.